Hello, my lovely friends. How are you doing today? My name is Rue. How do you do? Today, I wanted to remake another one of my videos that is fairly popular. It was my first autism related video that I did on Autism Acceptance Day, and I felt it was a fairly unorganized video, and I was like very stressed when I made it. So I wanted to redo it, perhaps in a more organized fashion, but like not super organized. I did write down some stuff, but it's still slightly chaotic, so it's still going to be rambly in my normal fashion, the way I do these videos. Which is funny because I am like I do prefer things to be very organized, but just with the way my brain is right now, after dealing with burnout and stuff, I just don't have the mental energy to just be very, very organized, and I just can't produce that quality at the moment. So if I didn't do it this way, it just wouldn't get done. And so done is better than perfect, because perfect doesn't exist. So, but it seems like a lot of you like this style of video, so I titled the original video Autism Tips and Taps, so we're doing that again today. And if you don't know, I am a late diagnosed autistic person. I was diagnosed last October, and so I've been processing this information for quite a while, because I had like researched all of this before my assessment, and so I've been learning about my brain and stuff for quite a while now, and I know it's like a very overwhelming process. And so I know for me personally, it was very helpful to watch videos from other autistic people on the internet, and it helped me understand myself better. And so that's kind of what I want to do here. So I want to talk about some stuff that perhaps you haven't thought about, or can help you process this maybe a little better. I don't know. Maybe you can relate to some stuff and feel less alone. But yeah, so I'm just gonna tap on some stuff while I talk. We got avocado, and I tried to like split them into categories roughly. So we'll see how it goes. I do have like my notes over here, so if I'm looking over here, that's why. So my first category is just like general life / mental health stuff. and I feel like I've been developing like coping mechanisms and things since very early in my life, because I don't know. I learned that I had anxiety. I knew I had anxiety. Like, I learned that in my early 20s. And so I developed coping mechanisms for that. And obviously that also helps my... There's a bird outside. Like, these are things that it's basically, I've been trying to develop accommodations for my autistic traits that I didn't realize were autistic traits. Anyways. So there's literally a bird like right outside my window. I hope that's okay. Okay. He sounds kind of fun. Anyways. So in terms of anxiety, something that's very strange, well, maybe not, it's not strange, but like, people might think it's a weird suggestion, but something that helped me with my anxiety is reading about Buddhist philosophy. And I don't even know how to explain it, but I guess just like learning mindfulness and Also, guided meditation is really helpful in sort of helping to clear anxious thoughts that I'm having. So if I'm like spiraling down this anxiety, cycle, I can find a guided meditation and it can help me let go of that. Like, I think it's a skill to learn how to be able to let go of thoughts that are harming you, especially things that you can't control, that your brain is like freaking out about. Learning to be able to let go of those things and clear your mind, and sort of ground yourself. That's a really important skill to have, and it's something that I've been working on for quite a while, and so that's very helpful, because I think when I'm like spiraling down these anxiety loops, that's kind of where you get into like that meltdown territory, and so having a sense of control over your own mind, I think is very important. And so I don't want to get into like all this Buddhist philosophy or whatever, but I find it very peaceful and calming. And if you want a podcast suggestion, I like to listen to the Secular Buddhism podcast, and I really like how he teaches. He has like a very calming voice. But if you wanted to look into that, I think that's a good podcast to listen to. But guided meditations have been really helpful for me, because I don't meditate well like on my own, but like when I'm listening to someone talk me through it, it's a lot easier. And there's a lot of those on YouTube and stuff, so something to think about. And kind of on the same wavelength, like, so when you're feeling anxious, focusing on what you can control and letting go of things that you can't control. Because obviously if you can't control it, then you're just going to be hurting yourself, thinking about it over and over again, because there's nothing you can do. So you may as well just let it go, because you're hurting yourself, and it's not productive. So try to figure out what you can control in the situation, and then come up with like a simple plan. Like, you can start super, super simple, like, but every single step towards, fixing whatever problem it is that you're facing is important. And you don't have to, like, I think we get into this like mindset of, oh, I have to fix everything in the world right now, but that's unrealistic. So, I think it's important to, acknowledge that, and once you've had your like freak out moment, cry a little, let it out, you can sit down and come up with a plan. That's important. And I feel like autistic people are or at least me, I'm good at finding unconventional solutions to problems, because I'm kind of an unconventional person, and so I find unique ways to solve problems. So perhaps you're also like that, and that's a really good strength. And then I would also encourage you to just, if you're anything like me, like after learning about autism or being diagnosed, it becomes like a special interest almost, and you're kind of obsessed with learning about it. And I was definitely that way. But take it slow. It's like very overwhelming, and it's a bit stressful. At least it is for me. So, go slow, absorb information, process it. But I do encourage you to learn about sort of like the technical aspects of how your brain works and how you process information and stuff, because learning these things is so powerful. Because if you know how your brain works, you can have strategies how to better interact with the world and how to accommodate for your needs. And just like, it's good to just understand yourself more. Because if you're anything like me, you've been like basically your whole life downplaying your experiences and, not being authentic. And you kind of have to unlearn that. And so I think it's important to sort of go on a self-discovery adventure, journey, yeah. So, find resources and just slowly absorb this information. Find autistic groups on the internet, talk to other autistic people. It's really helpful, and you feel less alone that way, so I would definitely suggest that. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. I wanted to talk about sleep because, this is an ASMR channel, so we like sleep here. And I know it's quite common for autistic people to have trouble sleeping, so I thought I would talk about sort of my routines and stuff, or things that helped me, because I have always struggled with sleep and getting to sleep. And so I've developed, certain things that help me sleep, so I thought I'd share that with you. I'm also going to switch triggers because, yeah. Okay, so, I think the first thing I discovered that helped me sleep, when I was in my early 20s was earplugs. And so right now, now I sleep with earbuds because I listen to ASMR, but I didn't know what ASMR was in my early 20s, so I started wearing earplugs, and I realized that was extremely helpful for sleep for me, because literally any little sound in the house is going to keep me awake. It has to be completely silent. So earplugs are very, very helpful. I also sleep with a fan on every night, and I do like the breeze. It helps me sleep and be cool and stuff, but it's also like that white noise sound that kind of blocks out any other sounds in the room. So I have to sleep with a fan on, and that's really helpful for me. And maybe also you could get like a white noise machine or whatever, and perhaps that would be helpful. I also cannot have any lights on, even little flashy lights. No. It has to be completely dark. Because I can see the light through my eyelid and it keeps me awake. So, no sound, completely dark. Although, I say no sound, but now I listen to ASMR every single night. I learned about ASMR when it was 2017, and I was going through a pretty rough mental health time, and I think I had shared this with a group on the internet, and someone suggested ASMR. And I looked it up, and I believe, the first person I found was ASMR Darling, and I remember listening to the video for the first time, and I was like, what is this? This is magic. Because I did get tingles, and it was very, very relaxing and calming. And I remember ASMR was the only escape I had at that time, because my mind was so anxious and overwhelmed. And so it's the only way I could get my brain to shut up. And I also was fascinated because it would make me fall asleep. And I'm not normally someone who can fall asleep when there's noise. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is magic. And I don't get tingles anymore because I listen to it every single night, but it's still relaxing. So, obviously you guys probably listen to ASMR as well. So you know that secret. The other huge tip I would give you, if you live with your partner or something, I have my own bed. bedroom. I sleep in my own bedroom. I have to. I do live with my fiance, but we have separate rooms, and people are so weird about this kind of thing because it's like, I don't know, like a taboo or something. But we have such vastly different sleeping styles that he keeps me awake, and he snores. So he like has a TV show on, and like he has a lot of lights in his room, a lot of noise, and we also go to bed and get up at different times. So if you can have a separate bedroom, it's really good. I sleep much better that way. So I would definitely recommend that. The other things I have are a weighted blanket, which is amazing. When I first started using the weighted blanket, I didn't think it made a difference, but then I tried sleeping without it, and I was like, oh no, don't like that. So weighted blanket is nice, and I also sleep with Shark, who you've seen in some of my videos, and I like have to be hugging him every single night or I don't sleep very well. So like having that like comfort stuffed animal is also helpful. And I bring him when I travel and stuff too. Like he comes everywhere. So those are my sleep tips. I hope those help. Perhaps I should switch triggers. We'll do a book. The other thing I wanted to talk about is like, I don't know what to call it, but like aesthetic, your outward appearance. I don't know. But like basically, so for me, I have been trying to blend into the background my entire life because I don't want to be noticed. I don't want to be seen as weird, whatever. So I looked very like bland, and no one saw me because I was trying to blend. And what was I talking about? I got distracted. There's a lot of noise right now, so I apologize. But like aesthetic. So I was basically trying to blend in and dress and appear in a way that is pleasing to others. And this, along with masking and whatnot, led to, identity issues, and I like didn't know who I was. So I would encourage you to start buying clothes that like really speak to you, and like developing your own style. And so like if you want to wear like really bright clothes or like shirts with fun art on them or whatever, you should. And so I would recommend exploring how you want to present yourself to the world, and stop doing things that you don't like doing just because you want to appear a certain way to other people. And what I mean by that is like, I used to wear makeup because I felt like I had to look a certain way. My hair was long. I have cut all my hair up, obviously. And I feel like I look more like me. And it's also really good sensory-wise as well, because hair used to really bother me. But I would encourage you to play with how you look, and don't be afraid to be yourself. I know it's difficult because we've been trying to blend and mask our whole life, but I would encourage you to explore it and find people who aren't going to judge you for how you look. And I know your looks aren't like everything, but I think it can help you express yourself and find your sense of identity to kind of play around with these things. So it's definitely been really good for me. So also on the same page, like where you live, decorated how, like in a way that makes you happy. Because I don't want my house to look like everyone else's house. I tend to like put things on the wall that I just like looking at. Like in front of me I have a sticker of a cicada and like some other little artwork and stuff. We have Totoro up here. He's very cute. So I don't know, my decoration style is kind of bright and silly and maybe childish, I don't know. But it makes me happy, and I don't really like just that like bland, looks like everyone else's house kind of look. So I would encourage you to decorate your surroundings in whatever way makes you happy. So the next category we're going to talk about is sensory stuff. And I don't know if I want to say a whole lot about this, but I did want to say start paying attention to things that trigger you, because I think I was unaware of how bothered I was by certain things, and so like I would be upset and not know why I was upset, and it's actually a sensory thing. So for example, I am apparently very overwhelmed by movement in my peripheral view. So like when I go to the gym and there's a lot of people, obviously they're moving around and stuff, I get very overwhelmed by things moving around in my peripheral. I also started wearing my noise canceling headphones at the gym because that is also very helpful. And I didn't think I was bothered by sound at the gym until I started wearing these. And I'm like, oh, this is much less stressful. So I would encourage you to pay attention to things that are bothersome to you and modify your life in a way that makes sense. Another thing that is extremely overwhelming for me is when I'm in a space where a lot of conversations are happening and my brain is just like pop, 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 picking up on all these conversations, and I get so overwhelmed. And so there was a point where I worked in open office space, and I would not recommend for autistic folks, probably ADHD folks too. Is it good for anyone? I actually don't know. I don't know. But anyways, that's a big trigger for me. Also, okay, this is kind of the peripheral thing again, but like, you know when you're watching Netflix and you just have it up and it's like starts flashing in between shows that you can watch? I hate that. So I always have to click off of it really fast because that like flashing in my peripheral view is so annoying. But just like things like that. And I've mentioned in other videos, like they have the loop earplugs, there's flares, noise canceling headphones, like play around with that stuff, wear sunglasses. Yeah, got a little pair. Okay, the next topic I wanted to talk about is relationships. Obviously, social things can be quite difficult for an autistic person, so I would encourage you to find people who love you exactly the way you are. And like, I mean the unmasked version of you. I'm gonna use my fiance as an example because I do feel like since my diagnosis, I have been trying to unmask as much as possible. And like, I don't even know if he's like even noticed. But he's just like, you know, he just loves me however I am, and he'll do things that sort of accommodate for my needs, just like without me even asking. So he's really good. So find people in your life that just like aren't going to question your needs or your boundaries. And I also think, you know, if you need to reevaluate how much you socialize, you should do that, because I know like if I socialize too much, it takes a lot from my like energy bank, and then I end up being very burnt out and unable to function. So feel free to say no to social events, and just no is a valid answer. If you need to say no to social events, just say no. No, I can't make it. You don't need to make up excuses. No is a valid reason. I know some people will pry and be like, oh, you should come, you need to come, why can't you come? Just keep it simple. Like, you don't have to over explain yourself to someone. No is no. No means no. Okay. And I think also finding people who aren't going to try to like peer pressure you into these things, it's very important. I would also encourage you to find online spaces to socialize, because I think that's often easier for autistic folks. And finding people whose brains work the same as you is also helpful. And so I think you can get some of that social interaction from online, and that's good. And you may also be able to find more people that you can relate to online, because perhaps there aren't as many in real life, And then the last topic I wanted to talk about is like routines. I'm really sorry, this video is probably going to be long, it seems like. But I wanted to cover all these things that I have. But routines are important. And if you're like me, I can't have really, 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 really strict routine, because I will get very obsessive, and if anything goes wrong, I will flip out. So I like to have a general, like, mini routines, but like general idea of what I'm doing, but also I can be kind of flexible and move them around. And so something that I do every single day is I make a list of what I need to do that day. And I love checking things off my list. And I have some items that I do every single day. Like, I make my bed every single morning, and I know that seems like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's unnecessary, but I would really recommend it, because having a clean space just makes my brain happy. So I do it every single morning as soon as I get out of bed, and I put that on my list every day, so I get to check it off every day. But I think it's good to have a general idea of what you want to do that day and kind of check those off as you go. I like to something I like to do is, for example, like large tasks I want to get done in the week, I will make a list of big things I want to do that week, because I have a hard time putting large tasks on my daily to-do list, because then I feel obligated to do them, and I may not have the energy to do them, and I'll feel disappointed if I don't get to them. So I'll put them on this big list, and that way, if I get through my daily tasks and I still have energy, I can be like, okay, what can I do on this list? And so that's been helpful for me, because I can often get overwhelmed by big tasks. So that's kind of how I handle that. And like, for when I was talking about like mini routines, there's like certain things that I like done a certain way, but it's not necessarily like time dependent. So the way that I do mornings is very important to me, and I do the same thing every morning. I eat the same thing every morning. I often set things out the night before so it goes smoothly. And I need like time in the morning to wake up. So I always give myself time to wake up in the morning, because that's very important to me. And I want to, my morning routine is very important to me. And I also go to bed at a certain time, which is important because sleep is very important. And so 9:30 is when I go to bed, like physically go to bed every single night. And I have to, and like if I have to stay up later, I can get kind of annoyed, but I realize that's maybe early for some people, but I really like sleep. And it's important to me, and I have to have it in order to function. So I go to bed at 9:30, and then the time I actually fall asleep depends. Sometimes I'll like scroll through my phone for a while. I have to find, the perfect ASMR video. And then, it can take some time to fall asleep. But I'm always in bed by like 9:30. And that's something I stick to. It was really hard when I was on vacation in England because obviously, you're around other people and they're staying up later. And I would be like, I just want to go to bed. Like, it's past my bedtime. So that can be difficult, but so yeah. And if you do better with like a strict routine, that's fine too. But I find that I need a little bit of flexibility, otherwise I will become very obsessive, and it's very not good. And there's always going to be something that goes wrong, and I just don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to lose it. So just having a plan, a general plan, and perhaps some backup plans if things go wrong. That's good. But play around with it, see what works for you, and yeah. Oh, also kind of on the same page, as far as like organization. So like when I was younger, I struggled with keeping things clean, that like executive functioning thing. So it's been really, really helpful for me to have a place for everything. And once you've used the item, put it back immediately. Do not wait. Do it immediately. And this is so helpful because my room stays clean, my house stays clean, and that makes my brain very, very happy. And so it takes a while to build those habits because it didn't come naturally to me. But once I started doing it and reinforcing it, it just became how I do things, and so my house stays clean, which helps my brain stay happy. So that's a good little tip there. So anyways, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. And it seems like it's getting a little loud outside, so we will end the video here. I hope these tips helped you, or or perhaps they can make you feel a little less alone. But yeah, let me know if you like this video, if I should do more of them, and feel free to comment your own tips below. But yeah, anyways, it's getting loud outside, so we're going to end the video here. Thank you for hanging out. I love you. You're amazing. You're doing amazing. The world is hard. And I will see you in the next